my head has been pounding today. But I need to run down to the store, get some stuff. That carburetor rebuild kit did show up, so I already have the carb cleaner. I got 2 cans of that the other day, and need to pick up a few other things though. I'm gonna try to find that black dye. So, and that would be for this strap right here. And it is, did I do the e-brake? Yeah, my brain isn't really working. But that strap would go vertically right here. So I want it to be black to match. So I need to find some dye, and I couldn't find it at the store by my house. Because that's just ugly. That does not match at all. Alrighty, let's go to the mailbox and see if it actually showed up. Well, it did show up. Hopefully that's everything I need to pass emissions. Yeah, right. What's going on down here? Everybody came to a stop all of a sudden. Now they got the road blocked off. Luckily I don't have to go that way. Check that out, yellow walls. I haven't seen that before. I guess they're white and yellow walls. Weird. Here's the difference between that store by my house and Fry's. At that store, these are $5, and here they're $3.29. And it's pretty much that way with everything there. Oh, my head's starting to hurt again, and I just cannot find the dye anywhere. I don't even know if they have it here. This might be a bust. Alright, I found it. It says aisle 20. I'm in aisle 20. Maybe with the... There it is! I found it! Ha! And it's only $3. Awesome. So this stuff says 1 package will dye 1 pound of dry fabric. But for a darker, which I'll probably want it as dark as I can get it, I'm just going to get 2 of these. Cool. Mission accomplished. I gotta get the hell out of here. Cool. Gotta get that for my, super glue. Alright. Cool. Now we're ready. Hey, buddy. Where you going? Don't you eat the pellets? It's like the best part for you. You guys see this? He digs around the pellets and eats everything else. Yeah, buddy. Let's get you some. Since you don't like the pellets, let's get you some seeds. Lock this stuff up so he doesn't break into it again. What's up, dude? So here's my dye, and here's the rebuild kit. Might even have a picture. Oh, wow. Cool. Looks easy enough. I know there's something wrong with my choke. So we'll see. Anyway, let's see what's in here. We got lots of gaskets. I'm actually looking for a square one. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still unsure because this accelerator pump, that's like a gasket material on that side of it. So right now I'm rocking just this with no additional gasket, and it's leaking. But with the additional gasket, it was also leaking. So anyway, got that. Don't know what this is yet. May have something to do with the choke, I'm not sure. Floats. I think this for sure has something to do with the choke, and that actually might help me because mine doesn't clamp down where it's supposed to. It just kind of freely moves in there. Like it doesn't stick out far enough, so maybe I'm missing this piece. And then some various... Is that like a little screen filter? And then some various springs and jets. Copper washer. Some red thing. I don't know. It should be fun though. Looking forward to it. When I was complaining about the dust yesterday, it's not actually dust. It's like pollen. If you can see these little yellow, they're everywhere because of this mesquite tree. The whole ground is yellow. Look at that. It gets all in the... and this isn't even bad yet. I mean, there'll be like snow, like an inch or two of stuff on the cowling there. But anyway, that's what it is. I guess that's pollen or whatever. So, but Numbskull Skills, we go back and forth quite a bit. He had a cool trick. He said to put a, what's it called? Dryer sheet fabric, whatever the hell you call them. And he said if you rub it on there and then kind of polish it out, dust doesn't stick. So I'm wondering if it'll work with pollen. So I'm going to try that. I just don't know where. I guess I'll do this left or passenger side of the hood here. And like I said the other day, I would never do this to bare paint, but it doesn't seem to hurt this wrap. So I'm just going to kind of rub it in. And then we'll check back in like a day. You guys should check out his channel. It's small, he just started it, but he's got some really cool tips and stuff. I'll put the link in the description, or put it on the screen or something right now. He's working on some cool stuff, making molds for, I think he said like the 5-speed thing that I was working on in the last video. He's actually making like reverse molds out of like foam and a CNC machine and stuff, and in his garage. It's actually, he does some pretty cool stuff over there. You should check it out. So I didn't really know what to do this in. I found this old, I just washed it out. It's an old crock pot tub or whatever you call it. So, and it's already black, so if it gets stained, no problem. And I probably should have read this at the store. It says, for best results, add 1 cup of salt to dye a bath for cotton, rayon, or linen. Add 1 cup of vinegar to dye a bath for nylon, silk, or wool. I might have some salt. I'll have to go look for it. So does that mean I'd need 2 cups if I'm adding 2 of these? Maybe I should just start with 1 and throw it in there, leave it for 6 weeks and come back. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't even say how long it takes, does it? Immediately after dyeing. Yeah, that's not very good instructions there. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, I gotta fill our salt shaker. And then I'll dump the rest. Didn't know salt made dust. I might have to cut that one open. So I'm just gonna, I got a second one here. And we'll just estimate a cup or 2. Yeah, that's a cup, right? Guess we'll find out. Okay. Little salt ball. Okay. Okay. And that ain't nothing but salt and pepper. I'm not sure how much water to add, so I'm just going to put enough to where I think it'll cover that little belt thing that I'm trying to dye. That's probably good. Now I probably got to stir it up, eh? I'll just use a fork here. Why does it look brown? I have never dyed anything in my entire life, so this is going to be interesting. I did get black, didn't I? Yeah, azabache. Why does it look brown? Alright, I kind of rolled it up. Hopefully the water will get in between there. Not enough water. I don't want to dilute it. That probably really diluted it. I wonder what it tastes like. Probably tastes brown. I found the rest of the instructions. They're in here. Nice. So apparently you're supposed to like get it really, really hot and wear gloves, which mine's just cold water, so it's probably not going to work. I am boiling some eggs right now, so maybe I could dump the egg water in there. Oh, I think they're about done. Alright, so I just killed the heat on that. And I got like a little strainer here, so I'm just going to dump this boiling water straight in there. I read some of the directions, and I think it said you want it to be about 140 degrees. I don't want my eggs to flip over and break. Oh, that's as much as I'm willing to do. These are organic. I can't break these. Okay. So I guess now we let it sit. You're also supposed to pre-wash whatever you're doing, which I didn't know that either. So I did not do that. And I think it said 3 gallons of water per pound of fabric. So my proportions are way off. But if anything, it should be like better, more concentrated. I don't know. I think this first one's going to be a fail. I'm glad I grabbed 2 of them. Well, that was easy enough to get off. As you can see, there's like raw fuel down in there, and I'll probably have to, there's already some schmutz. Anyway, I'm just gonna put this paper towel in there for now. You know, when I first saw this, I thought they had like done some goofy stuff, but I guess it does take 2 or 3 adapters to get that carburetor on this thing. I couldn't believe how heavy that dang thing was. I weighed it, it was 6 pounds. I thought it was more like 12. It literally feels like a solid chunk of metal. Well, I already pulled the carb, so I'm blocked in the Jeep. I forgot to get gas earlier. Gas I siphoned out of this last time went in the motorhome. That pollen is everywhere. I just washed this bucket out. I'm going to try to get some fuel out of it to soak the carburetor in before I do anything else. Well, hopefully that's enough. Weird that I'm cleaning it in gas and it's already got gas in it. Oh, that was like the perfect, that was almost the perfect amount. So I'm gonna let this soak. And my goal here is not to replace every single part that came in that kit. My goal is to try to find a smoking gun. When my dad was over here a few weeks ago, we were looking at it. We had it running, and when I was giving it a good amount of throttle, you could see the fuel dumping into the primary, but no matter how high I revved it, nothing was being shot into the secondary. So my goal with this is basically to clean out all the passages and just get it functioning correctly. I don't really care how many parts I replace. If I only use the gaskets, I'd be fine with that, but I do want to replace the accelerator pump and the power valve, and then whatever else. So it's just going to be like a play it by ear kind of thing, depending on what we find. So I'm going to let this soak for a little while. I still have a headache, so this gas smell isn't really helping. So I'm going to lay down for a little bit, and then I'll brush it out and then disassemble it. Yes, this little fuel. Just need something to dip a brush into. Alright, this is a Weber 3236 carburetor, I believe. There should be some markings on it. Weber, made in Spain. Yeah, 3236 DGAV. Alright, well, I'm going to pull these 4 screws out. See where that gets us. Okay, so okay, it doesn't want to come apart because there's a little circlip right here. So let me grab a little hook tool. And then I think this arm probably just comes off like that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to remember that. This gasket just broke, so hope I got the right kit. Okay, so let's remember that this arm, oh, that makes sense because that's the choke. This deal here, coolant flows through here. This is not supposed to be all floppy like that, but anyway, that arm, there's a temperature, temperature sensitive spring in there, and that's what opens and closes these choke flaps, I think. That's what it looks like. Okay. Great. I'm gonna have to go get my little scraper. Just kind of using this in conjunction with this, and it did a pretty good job getting the gasket stuff loose, but I still want to kind of go in there with the brush. See, like that chunk right there of gasket. Like I said earlier, I'm just kind of looking for somewhat of a smoking gun. Let's see, how did it sit on the car? When my dad and I were looking at it, this side was spraying fuel and this side was not, I believe. Might have been the other way around, but that's kind of how it went down. No matter how much I revved it, it would not spray anything out of the second one. Try to get the majority of the crap off of it before you start taking it apart. I mean, it's all going to get cleaned anyway, but it just seems like it makes it easier. It's slimy. I don't know what that is. Probably that emissions cleaner crap that I ran through it. Needle and seat. So how this works, as fuel is trying to flow in, there's a hole down there, and this is shaped like a cone. You guys can see that. That's shaped like a cone, and as the gas fills it up, this cone goes in and blocks the fuel flow. So once it gets to a certain height and the buoyancy of the floats, it blocks the fuel, so fuel doesn't go into the bowl and just keep overfilling it. I think this is the whatchamacallit, power valve thing, which I'm not 100% sure what that does, but it looks like it's held in by 3 flatheads. I know the needle and seat stuff because I've had so many dirt bike carburetors apart. I haven't taken apart many automobile carburetors, but they're somewhat similar. They're a lot less complex on like a dirt bike. How's that look? Not not the best, but not terrible. I'm gonna break out the new one and see if it comes with all of this. So it does look like there's a gasket and the rubber. See, there's 2 layers there. That is weird. We'll see how the new one, if it has all that. Okay, so I'm just gonna set that right there. We'll open this up. I don't know if I have the right kit. Let's compare the floats. Yeah, they look identical, basically. I guess I was thinking this was the power valve. I thought it came with a new power valve. I was almost positive it said that it did. So, but I thought this was something for like the choke. I guess we'll find out. I mean, I could reuse this. The gasket's okay, and the rubber's not punctured, I don't think. Well, I guess I'm gonna take the choke apart. There's definitely something wrong with this choke. I think it's missing potentially something like that. Because it was just like, it had play in it. Which there shouldn't have been any play. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it was. I'll have to pull out the drawing, but there's a hole right here, and there's a little nub right there. I think that goes in there. However, that nub looks like it's been like flattened out or something, so I don't know. Maybe that's why they didn't have it in there. Anyway, I'm just curious. This was tight. Yeah, when I'm holding it tight now, it doesn't want to move. Before, no matter how tight these 3 screws were, you could sit there and turn it. Okay, so I think that's probably what was missing. So I'm going to pull apart this other part of this choke and see if that's this piece. If so, then I guess they just didn't give me a power valve, which I'll bring up the ad that I purchased this from. I could have sworn it said power valve right on it. Ooh. Yeah, that does look like that's what that is. So. We could replace that. Actually, is it the same size? Look at the difference. What the hell? If that's even what that's supposed to be. Look how far apart the holes are right there versus right there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to replace much. I hope at least the gaskets are. And is this going to work? Let's check the. Gotta be this guy. Yeah, that stuff doesn't really ever dry out. So, is that the right diameter? Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay. Well, doesn't this look bigger than this? I guess maybe over time that got squished out or something. Okay, if you guys can see that, that one's free. That one's free. Whoop. So that has a copper gasket up in behind it. It does look pretty nasty. I hope I remember all this stuff. It was not the right day to do this, but I got other stuff going on. I really don't want to put my mouth on that, but I do want to check it. I'm gonna go clean this off so I can try to blow through it. Just want to show you guys something. Hopefully you can see me. Looks like there's more threads on that. Anyway, when I put this one in my mouth and it's sealed until you push on that. Well, this one that I just pulled out of it, it does not seal, so that would be a good part to change. I took this off because this is what my dad and I noticed. These two like squirters. So tiny, but they do have holes. Oh, that one almost looks like it does not have a hole. Well, that would surely explain why. Uh-oh. Oh, it's in here. Thought I lost the little. Man, these things are so tiny. These little copper gaskets, and they're all like black colored. Anyways, yeah, I'll have to do some research because I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's definitely a hole on that side, and I'm not seeing one on the other side. And that would totally explain why we were getting the result we were, but I didn't think it was supposed to be like that. Then again, I don't really know what I'm doing, so. And you can see, like, this is where the accelerator pump went, so, you know, it has this arm on it underneath here. That arm, when it moves, it pushes on this diaphragm, and that feeds up to this hole and then gets directed through these little nozzles. So I'm going to tighten that back up and squirt through here and see if it does its thing. So it's shooting out this side but not this side. So I do not know what to make of that. I'll have to do some research, I guess. That sucks. Alright. I'm trying to like clean one thing out, put it back together, because I know I'm not going to remember all this crap. It'll take me 4 tries to get it back together, probably. Probably end up throwing this back on today and just see. Hopefully it runs like it did, at least. I bet you I'm gonna set this in the sun for a few minutes, guys, and we'll come back out and see if these are open, because that spring in there is temperature sensitive. So I'll just set her right here, cover that part, and leave this in the sunlight, and we'll see what happens. But just thinking about something, I also wanted to dye my seat belts black. So I think it would just be the two outer ones, because the inner part, it doesn't have any fabric. So, but if I pop those off and throw it in there, I think I'm gonna try to do that. So, yeah. Man, I got some kind of luck. So I laid the carburetor out there to see if the flaps would open when it got hot, and I had put the towel over the top of it. Not, you know, I wasn't gonna leave it out there very long. And then our AC, my roommate told me the AC wasn't blowing cold, so I got up on the roof and there was like a damn dust devil. Well, I have a clip from me up there. I didn't catch the bad part, but just like I was talking to my dad and he couldn't hear me, and I'm like, hold on. I pulled my phone out, but by then it was almost over. Hold on, Dad. It's like a damn dust devil. I don't know if you can hear it, but I gotta sit down. I gotta sit down. I'm gonna fly off the roof. Yeah, there's like a dust devil going on. But anyway, that same dust devil took that 5-gallon bucket and launched it out in the street, and took the towel that I had covering my carburetor and flipped it back and put a bunch of crap inside the carburetor. So I don't know. I'll probably pull it back apart, blow it out before I put it back on the Suzuki. And I'll show you a picture here of, you just saw me clean the inside of the garage like 2 days ago. Look at this picture. And apparently I left the top off. I've just been using my fingers trying to get all this crap out, but I'll probably blow it out or suck it with the vacuum. I guess I forgot to put this on when I was siphoning gas yesterday. Yeah, that little dust devil, in a matter of, I don't know, less than a minute, did all this, just crap everywhere, and my carburetor was sitting right there. So that's, look at all this. Oh, jeez. Anyway, not good. So last night I sent the guy an email basically telling him, and once I realized that the power valve wasn't what I thought it was, and the kit did actually come with a power valve, but that was one of the things that didn't fit. That is the power valve. And we know mine was leaking when I tried to blow through it. It wasn't sealing, so I would like to do that. Anyway, after sending him the pictures with the part, you know, all the numbers and everything off my carburetor, and the kit that I bought that is clearly supposed to fit this thing, it's the 3236 DGAV. He says that this carburetor is an older version, and they did take a different power valve and a different choke diaphragm, and he was going to try to locate some. Then he emailed me back later, said he was going to send 2 different versions and the diaphragm, and refund me $10. So I don't know, I guess we'll see. But because this was sitting out there, I don't know how much crap it got in it, so I'm gonna blow it out real good with the air hose and then reinstall it. I'll be pulling it all back apart whenever those things show up, but I just can't leave it right here blocking my way for the Jeep. I gotta be able to move it around every day. So I'm gonna blow it out, reinstall it, and we'll see how she runs. Alright guys, that should be good enough. All it was that pollen and stuff, so I'm not, even if it did get into the engine, it's nothing too terrible. I just didn't want any dirt going through it. But like I said, I'm going to be ripping it back apart here fairly soon, so that should be good enough to throw it back on though. Alright, I'm waiting for a few minutes until I get enough shade over here to be able to put the camera in it to film me putting the carb back together. So in the meantime, I removed the seat belts, stretched them all out. I'm going to use the second pack of that dye, and I'll probably heat up a pan with boiling water dump it in there, dump the dye in there with some more salt, and get as much of the, I mean, you'll never see all this as long as I can get it to like right there, but I'm gonna dunk as much of the material as I can in there, and we'll just have to let it sit for quite a while. I let that one sit for a day, so probably won't have results in this episode, but playing the long game on that. I just want those black because then it'll match. Okay guys, this was boiling just a second ago, so I'm gonna go ahead. I got salt in here, like a good amount, probably at least another cup. So I'm gonna dump that and dump this boiling water. Gotta leave a little room for the I'm just going to put it under the Jeep over here so it can sit here for a day or so. Hopefully I'll clear it if I have to go anywhere. Just push these in there like that. And hopefully it'll dye them. I won't be able to show you in this video, but we can start off the next video with the dye job. It's gonna be fun to try not to spill when I pull all that stuff out. God, look at how much that little dust devil brought in. I mean, it's everywhere. You guys just saw me sweep this like a couple days ago, and it's totally everywhere again. But alright guys, well, I think that's going to do it for this video. When the other carburetor parts show up, I'll have to just pull it off and tear it back down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with these things, but at least it's running and I can move it around to work on it and get the Jeep out and stuff like that. So if you could, please do me a favor. If you're not already subscribed and you like the content, please subscribe. I think I need 90 something subscribers, and then that'll be awesome. But alright guys, as always, I appreciate you. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.